You look at what he's doing as a closer, and it's historically dominant. He's got a negative FIP, and I don't even understand FIP, but I understand for it to be negative is I don't think it's ever happened before. He's doing things that I don't think we've even seen in the sport.
Nice to see Brent Rooker back on FT Live. Brent, how you doing, dude? And
Brandon?
do you feel?
There we go, hey guys.
Yeah,
whoa,
what's up?
Whoa,
He looks studious.
Wait, who is that?
Nerd alert!
He can't be studious. He went to Mississippi State. They don't study at Mississippi State. I've heard.
It's still morning over here. I haven't put my contacts in yet. Kratzy, that is what I think of when I hear Carl, though, every time.
Thank you, Brent.
Yeah,
I figured you were listening.
Yeah, I was listening. You're not alone in that. You're not alone.
Yeah. So
I like this trend of backwards hats too.
I just saw Rook about like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Sweaty after he's hitting balls in the second fountain in KC.
Yeah. He's hot. Good to see you, though. Always good to catch up in person, not on here.
Yes. Exactly. You too, Brent. So let's start here, okay? Most people were like, the A's are going to lose 125,000 games. I think that's not going to be the case. So do you feel like it's an us against the world mentality at times with the way that your team's playing ball? And I know it's slipped a bit again lately, but I think it's been made clear that there are going to be teams that are in worse shape than yours at the end of the year, especially when the team's still on the rebuild plan right now.
Yeah, I think I think we heard all that noise in spring training, obviously, and I think we had a goal as a team to kind of prove a lot of people wrong, and I think we've done that so far this year. I think we've had obviously we just came off a little stretch where we didn't play as well. We won a big game last night. We were playing really well a couple weeks ago, and guys to continue to improve, and I think we're going to be in a better situation even in a couple months from now than we are right now. So I like how we played. I like the competitiveness that we showed and the growth we've shown, and I'm just looking forward to kind of seeing where this year takes us.
Is there a sense of, with the back end of your bullpen, that games are a little bit shorter? That you're sitting there going, man, if we can just scrape something out here in the 6th or 7th inning, if we can grind this out, the boys in the back end are going to absolutely shut the door.
100%. There's definitely that sense, and that gives you a ton of confidence as an offense and as a team in general, just knowing. People talk about Lucas and Mason the 8th and 9th, but even the guys that are throwing, Austin Adams throwing the 7th for us, TJ McFarland's throwing some big innings for us. So the guys at the back end have been so good. Last night's a perfect example. Seth hit a homer in the 7th, I think, to tie it. Lucas comes in the 8th, obviously doesn't give up anything. We hit a solo homer in the 9th, and then we got Mason Miller we just hit a solo homer in the 8th. I'm sorry, and then obviously Mason comes in the 9th, and when Mason comes in the game, you've got a really, really, really good chance to win. So it gives you a ton of confidence as a team for sure.
Hey, do you guys look forward to Mason Miller coming in as much as I do and everyone else does? And the small crowd that is in Oakland, when he comes in, the place still gets loud. So, I mean, when you guys see him come in, is it like, oh, shit, what's he going to do today to make us wow?
Yeah, I mean, it's a show every night. And you ask the question, what's he going to do today? But the thing about it is, like, exactly what he's going to do every time. He's just going to throw it 103, and then he's going to throw that wipeout slider at 87, and he's going to strike everybody out. And it just happens over and over and over again. I think we joke about it in the locker room, but, like, our whole game plan every single night is just find a way to get Mason Miller in the game, because we get Mason Miller in the game, we've got, like I said, we've got a really good chance to win it. And it never gets less entertaining watching from the dugout or from the outfield or wherever. Like, watching him go out there and just dominate is awesome every single time.
Being a big league hitter, though, you can hit anybody. Tell Mason on here what you would do if he brought that week 103 into Rooker land.
Yeah, I mean, I think the scouting report is you just got to pick one of the pitches and you hope you pick right, and then you hope you hit it even when you pick right. So I've been working with Mason kind of in the clubhouse. I've been giving him some grip tweaks. I think he can kind of work on some stuff and get a little bit better than he's been doing. So I joke with him all the time about that. But I mean, it's just as a hitter watching it, you're just really happy he's on your team, because I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what the opposing scouting report says, but it can't be encouraging walking up there trying to face that.
Okay, so I have to ask Brent, because we just had Carl Ravitch on, and I'm dealing with a guy from New Jersey and a guy from Pennsylvania, okay? Kratz went to a Division III school. I skipped school because, why not? But SEC just means more. Mason Miller, D3. Just tell him, dude, you went to the SEC, bro. You saw that every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you would have no problem with Mason Miller. He was a midweek guy. You're like, oh, Mississippi State, we're playing, I don't know, whoever, Mercer. Oh, midweek game, we got this guy.
Yeah, every seventh guy in every SEC bullpen is 102, 103 with that kind of slider. So it's just
right.
common. It's commonplace down there. You get used to it and you just deal with it.
Boring baseball.
I have a real question about Mason because
that was a real question. What do you mean? That was a real question.
No, I know, but the reason I bring this up is because you might think like, oh, why would you mess with this? He might be kidding. Should Mason Miller go back into the starting rotation eventually? He has the stuff, the repertoire. He's done it in the past. This was also a way to try something else because he had gone through injuries, but I don't think it's crazy to say that he could be a number one starter in Major League Baseball. And a number one starter in baseball is so rare and generally worth more than a shutdown ninth inning guy. So would you think about that if you were, making decisions like that?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, ultimately that's going to be up to people who aren't me, of course. Mason being one of those guys. You look at what he's doing as a closer, and it's historically dominant, right? It's like, he's got a negative FIP, and I don't even understand FIP, but I understand for it to be negative I don't think it's ever happened before. So it's just like he's doing things that I don't think we've even seen in the sport. So it would be tough to want to take him out of that role, but at the same time, I mean, you're right. He has the stuff to go out there and be an ace and dominate for longer periods of time as far as innings goes. But I mean, I think right now we just enjoy what we're watching and kind of let that decision fall where it may in the future.
Yeah, I might get some hate for that. I'm also just crowdsourcing because I've actually read about it and still heard people say, I think he could be a number one starter. So just something to think about because I think there's two examples. There's Josh Hader, who was starting at one point and ends up just being a dominant closer and occasionally now can go multiple innings. There's Jordan Hicks for the San Francisco Giants out there right now who's nearby. And he was a ninth inning guy and then just a bullpen guy for a while. And some people were like, it's crazy. Why are you going to make him a starter? He looks freaking awesome. He's got a low 2 ERA and it actually looks like he's still got another level. Sure, his stuff's playing, quote, down a little bit. His velo's not as high. But I think it's actually helping him with his command and his control to be able to go 5-6 innings.
Yeah, we saw Jordan in one of the Bay Bridge series games before the season started. He's starting against the season. I think he went 5 and he looked great. So his stuff's definitely playing as a starter. The pitchability's there for him too with the 3 pitches he's throwing. I don't think when he was in the bullpen, I don't think he ever threw that splitter as much as he's throwing now. So having that third pitch is obviously helping the starter transition a little bit. But yeah, he looks great. So that's definitely something to keep in mind.
So what about Rook? Why are you not a 44-game guy right now? Do you go into Kotze? You're on another all-star path like you were last year. Do you go into the manager's office and say, I appreciate how much you're playing me and those, the 6 games I didn't get in this year, I couldn't have helped the team. I'm really just maxing out. Or are you like, Kotz, like let me get in there. Like, I need to be in there every single day.
I spent 10 days on the IL.
Piss. See? So poor research.
So there's your
poor
answer.
Research by me. So then let's go to your adjustment from the first half to the second half last year back to the first half this year. Is there anything connected to this, not hot start, but the readjustment to what you were doing in the first half?
Yeah, I think so. I think just kind of the longer you're in the league, the more at bats you get, the more you're exposed to pitchers. There's always the pitchers adjust to you. You got to readjust the pitchers. And it's just this constant cycle of kind of figuring out what guys are going to now start to do to try to get you out and being able to make your own adjustment to be able to compete against that. And I think that's kind of what's part of what makes this game great and what makes playing in this league so much fun. So I think this year I've done a better job than I did last year of just having like a really specific game plan going into each at bat and then sticking to that game plan, being stubborn in my approach. and kind of letting the results of the at bat fall where they may, instead of, sometimes you go up there as a hitter, you've got a game plan, you've got an approach that you think is going to work. Then all of a sudden the guy does something a little bit different. You're down 0-1 and you just completely abandon the approach. Like, all right, well, that didn't work. Let's try something different. And then that ends up not giving you the best chance to succeed in that at bat. So what I've done this year, I think, better than last year, is just have that game plan, have a really well thought out approach and a reason to have that approach, and then go in there and be stubborn with it, and just kind of trust in the process that if I do that enough times, that I'm going to win a lot of the at bats.
A question that maybe kids would have is about elevated pitches, right? And elevated fastballs. How do you hit them? I guess I'll just ask it that simply, right? Because I know you think about these things and you're not, Miggy, where you're just like, I don't know, I just do everything well. And I just show up and just hit balls.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so my thought process on obviously the high four seam, which gets a lot of play with guys having the high vertical break and all that stuff, comes from, I learned from Josh Donaldson in 21 when we were in Minnesota, and his thought for it was always like, if he thinks a guy's going to try to beat him up with a fastball, as soon as he sees the pitch, he's trying to just get his front elbow up above it, and that's going to put him on plane and let him attack the top part of that ball, to be able to stay on top of those riding fastballs at the top of the zone. So that's been my thought process on it the last couple of years. It's worked for me. Just if I think four seam's coming, or if it's a guy with a really good elite fastball, that as soon as I see the pitch height, I'm trying to get my front elbow up above it, and that's going to put me on plane and let me stay on top of that elevated fastball.
I got a fan question about your teammate, Abraham Toro. Travis said, can you ask Rook about him? He was close to being DFA'd in April, and now he's had a monster month of May. What are you seeing?
He's a really professional hitter. He looks like he has a very good game plan going into every at bat. There isn't a pitch or a pitcher profile that he really has struggled with. He can hit everything. He swings to the right pitches, and he's done a really good job of taking advantage of mistakes in the middle of the zone. So I've been incredibly impressed with him. He's obviously been unbelievable over this first month and a half, and I don't think it's going to slow down. Just kind of watching him day to day.
Brent, best team that you've seen so far this year?
I mean, Baltimore is really good. New York is really good. The Royals are really good. Cleveland is good. There's a bunch of good teams. I was really impressed with Kansas City. I think that the young core they have, obviously led by Bobby, and then I thought their pitching was really good too. I mean, I'm gonna say, like, top to bottom, I think Baltimore is probably the best team we've played, but there's a lot of really good teams that we've seen so far.
Yeah, they haven't played the White Sox yet, clearly.
Have they not? Have you not played the White Sox yet?
He's not even gonna take the bait on that. Come on.
Yeah, no. Plead the fifth. Follow up on Kansas City, because you saw them last year. I mean, Bobby was there last year and he was crushing it. Obviously, Salvi's on fire right now for the team. But do you think that them going out there in the offseason and picking up these veteran starters has made all the difference? Because obviously it helps from a performance standpoint, but when you watch them last year, so often, you had younger guys that were learning and having trouble finding the zone. Then the bullpen starts getting taxed out of their mind. So, I just feel like at times there are veteran starters who are 3, 4, 5 range. You get overlooked because, maybe their stuff's just, quote, average these days. But it's making a huge difference for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think obviously the year that Lugo's having, super impressive. Walker's throwing great. Cole Reagan's is electric. Everybody knows that. So the guys that they have starting games for them right now are really good. And I think as always, having the veteran presence of experienced guys who have been around the league and been on different teams that have had success and know what that looks like and know what that takes is always going to be beneficial to a club that relies on a lot of young players.
Rook, Sacramento. You guys are clearly going there to play next year. What is your excitement about going to Sacramento? And what is your fear as a big league team going into Sacramento?
I mean, I think the excitement comes from the opportunity to develop a fan base. Obviously, I think a franchise and a team with as much storied history as Oakland has, that being able to I mean, obviously the moving locations is what it is, but being able to bring more people into that already existing fan base is exciting. I think the concerns on our part is just making sure that the stadium gets up to standards to be able to house a big league team for 81 games. But I think kind of where we stand on that is we trust the PA. We think they're going to do a fantastic job. Leadership there is going to do a good job of making sure that stadium is up to par before we go in there and use it as our home site.
Brent, last one before you go. I know you guys were playing last night. It was late out there on the West Coast, but did you happen to catch the last game of the SEC tournament last night?
I saw the last swing of that game. That's about the only. That's all. That's the entirety of the game that I saw. That's all I needed to see.
All you needed to see right there.
That's all I needed to see. So yeah, I saw the ending of it. Exciting.
Does it give you a special feeling every time Mississippi State beats Ole Miss? Does that still
that never gets old, especially with how much we have dominated that series in the since my sophomore year. So since 2016, we have that series has been very one-sided to the point where it's getting tough to consider it a rivalry still when the win-loss record goes so skewed one direction. But obviously the Mississippi State's they're right there on the bubble of trying to get a host site for the tournament. So that's a big win for them, and a couple more in the tournament. The SC tournament should put them in a good position to host, which is always exciting to have a regional in Starkville.
I thought Ole Miss and Mississippi State were the same school.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a different.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it like an inter squad?
Yeah. It's like a split squad in spring training.
For the championship of the SEC, the split squad. Ole Miss and Ole Mississippi State. That's nice.
Yeah, Ole Miss is just a nickname for Mississippi State. It's like another cool way that the kids say it.
Mississippi State University of Mississippi State Ole.
Exactly.
Rook, my daughter moves into Starkville in July, so I'll be hitting you up for some recommends.
Yeah, man, it's the city is.
There's not a ton of places.
Since I was there, bunch of new restaurants, bunch of new.
They got two McDonald's now. Two McDonald's.
Really?
A Chipotle.
They
got a Chipotle. They got a Chipotle. Chick-fil-A. I mean, they are moving up in the world.
It's growing up. It's growing up. It's cool.
It's growing up.
It's growing up. Exactly. Perfect timing. At Mississippi State volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's at.
For sure.
Yeah. Brent, great to see you, dude. As always, appreciate you. Keep doing your thing. And I know you won't say this, but we'll keep promoting this. Hopefully, we will see you in Arlington in a couple months too.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
This show, Foul Territory, is hosted by all former major leaguers plus me, just trying to keep up with these guys, right? So we are into daily health, energy, gut health, the whole deal. Pretty obvious. So we want to talk about AG1. I first gave AG1 a try because a friend recommended it to me a while back, and it's helped me on many levels. Focus, stress, gut health, big one for me. I'm also allergic to gluten and dairy, and this covers both categories there. So make sure you take ownership of your health by visiting drinkag1.com/foul. But I'm not the only one. Because this on the desk here right now, and I've been on the road a lot, so I've got my travel packets. Mr. Kratz is drinking AG1 as well.
Dude, the travel packets are a game changer. Just this weekend, we took it to Kansas City. You're in a hotel. They're not like all of it. Like, yes, you can find the juice places, but it's nothing like what's in these packs. Mm-hmm. For me, like just the energy that I have, and I just feel more alert because I don't drink energy drinks.
Yep.
And it's great. It is awesome. Obviously at home it's awesome, but the travel packs are the real G.
Listen, I know I'm 37. I know I look great, but I'm looking out. I'm checking the mail for my packets. I'm checking the mail for my packets, Crassy.
This is what happens. You recommend to a family or friend. So we got you then, okay? So you replace your multivitamin just with AG1. You don't need, to fill up your shelf. Just it's one packet, or obviously you have the tub and one scoop, which includes prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes for gut support. And yes, you can recommend it to friends, formulated based on the latest science and maintains high quality standards if you're of age. It's kind of one size fits all, which is great. So It's a foundational nutritional supplement that supports your body's universal needs like optimization, stress management, and immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. And if there's one product we would recommend to elevate your health, it is AG1. So we're excited to welcome them as a new partner to the FT fam. So if you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/foul, F-O-U-L. That's drinkag1.com/foul. Go check it out.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.